This video demonstrates the installation procedure for the small, medium, and large continuous dilution purge gas inlet kits. Single enclosure. Note: recommendations for how purge or pressurization systems should be connected are as follows. Installation locations should be selected for best ease of viewing of system pressure gauges and/or visual alarms. 2. All tubing, piping, and fittings that are selected should be suitable for the location where they will be installed, used, and protected from damage. 3. No valves shall be installed between the purge pressurization system and enclosure. Always refer to appropriate ATEX, CEC, IECEX, NEC/NFPA and UL standards for proper installation and required tests for certification of any complete purge pressurization system installed on enclosure. Multiple enclosures in series. Note: recommendations for how purge or pressurization systems should be connected in multiple enclosure installations include the single enclosure recommendations plus the following. 1. Enclosures in series should be connected from smallest to largest enclosure. 2. Connections between enclosures should be appropriately sized to allow proper operation of purge pressurization system and proper purge gas flow through enclosures. 3. Conduit and wireways can be used as protected enclosures or as connections between enclosures. The volumes of these conduit and wireways should be included in the overall volume to be diluted before power can be applied. The first enclosure in series should have purge gas supply to enclosures. The last enclosure in series should have purge gas exhaust from enclosures and pressure reference point for indication and/or alarm. Hazardous area installation. Flammable gases or vapors lighter than air. Note: recommendations for installation in hazardous areas with flammable gases or vapors that are lighter than air are as follows. 1. The purge gas inlet supply connection should enter the enclosure near the bottom corner of the enclosure. 2. The enclosure exhaust vent should be installed near an extreme opposite top corner of the enclosure. Flammable gases or vapors heavier than air. Note: recommendations for installation in hazardous areas with flammable gases or vapors that are heavier than air are as follows. 1. The purge gas inlet supply connection should enter the enclosure near the top corner of the enclosure. 2. The enclosure exhaust vent should be installed near an extreme opposite bottom corner of the enclosure. Caution: applicable permits must be obtained to prevent possible injury to personnel or damage to equipment when installing or maintaining this equipment. Enclosure must not be opened unless power is removed from the electrical equipment or the area is known to be non-hazardous. Before a continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit can be installed, it must be prepared for mounting on either the left or the right side of an enclosure. The purge gas inlet kit comes with the following parts: manifold regulator assembly, pressure gauge, plug, interface fittings, and mounting holes dimensional drawing. The manifold assembly is symmetrical, such that it can be mounted and operated on either side of the enclosure. During this illustration, the purge gas inlet kit will be mounted on the left side of the enclosure. The pressure gauge is attached to one of the two ports that are at right angles to the manifold block. The position that is chosen should permit a clear view of the pressure gauge and allow operation of the purge gas inlet kit from the front of the enclosure. The plug should then be installed into the unused port opposite the pressure gauge. The assembly will then be ready for mounting on the left side of the enclosure. The purge gas supply line will be connected to the remaining port between the pressure gauge and plug marked N. Alternatively, if the purge gas inlet kit is to be mounted on the right side of the enclosure, the pressure gauge and plug installation would be reversed so that the pressure gauge can be viewed from the front of the enclosure when mounted on the right side. Shown here is just one of the purge gas inlet kit options available for the X, Y, or Z type purge units. Review all of the material in the manual prior to installing and interfacing the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit to the enclosure for which it will supply purge gas. For overall unit dimensions, hole sizes, and locations required to interface and mount the system to an enclosure, refer to Purge Solutions Accessories Manual. For the small continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit mounting hole pattern, use drawing number PSO-SCD. For the medium continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit mounting hole pattern, use drawing number PSO-MCD. For the large continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit mounting hole pattern, use drawing number PSO-LCD. This installation shows mounting the unit on the left side of the enclosure. Alternatively, the unit can be mounted on the right side of the enclosure. Mounting of the unit involves the following 9 steps. Step 1. Make sure that the area surrounding the enclosure in which the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit is to be installed is known to be non-hazardous. Step 2. Make sure that all power is removed from the electrical equipment located in the enclosure where the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit will be installed. Step 3. Choose a mounting location for the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit on the enclosure that is farthest from the X, Y, or Z purge unit to achieve best dilution results. The mounting location should permit adequate viewing of the kit's pressure gauge and its interface for required adjustment or operation. Step 4. Use the mounting hole pattern, drawing number PSO-SCD, PSO-MCD, or PSO-LCD to accurately locate the mounting holes. Use the mounting hole template to produce a 1:1 scale drawing. Tape the 1:1 drawing to the outside of the enclosure. The required hole locations can then be transferred and/or marked using the centers of the holes as shown on the 1:1 drawing. Step 5. Drill or punch all holes per the sizes specified on the mounting hole pattern, drawing number PSO-SCD, PSO-MCD, or PSO-LCD. Step 6. After required mounting holes have been drilled or punched into the enclosure, align the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit to the mounting holes. Step 7. Using the interface fittings provided with the unit, mount the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit to the enclosure. Tighten the interface fittings until their O-ring seals are completely compressed against the surface of the enclosure. Step 8. After the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit interface fittings have been properly tightened, connect supply purge gas to the pressure regulator inlet port of the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit. Refer to drawing number PSO-SCD, PSO-MCD, or PSO-LCD for purge gas supply inlet size. Step 9. Once the purge gas supply has been connected to the pressure regulator inlet port of the continuous dilution purge gas inlet kit, it is ready to supply purge gas to the enclosure.